trouble with primitives in any art form, painting, poetry,
what are they, Dan?
music, is that they come a dime a dozen. You can trip over them.
They're 10 cents for 12.
Anyone can present himself as a primitive when they might
Is that 2 pence?
quite simply
Let's see. 1, 2, Mike pence.
lazy,
It's
or
2 pence.
money-minded,
Monday
or
mine.
all three at once.
Welcome to Tavern Talk, brought to you by The Way of the Leaf. My name is Ryan. Joining me as always is my brother Dan.
Hi.
And Jansen the Gleeman. Welcome everybody. We have a special show for you today. We are going to continue our book to show comparison series, and today we're going to tackle Siuan Sanche. And one of the fandom's favorite characters. Did they do her right? Did they do her wrong? We're going to answer that for you. Brother Dan,
Ryan, talking about Siuan is like wading through a pond filled with lionfish.
Speaking of fish,
There we go. Okay.
here, this is AI. I said, give me Swan Sanche holding 2 fish.
There you go.
It is. Are these silver pikes?
Maybe. I believe that's got to be Swan after she was stilled.
All right.
Yeah. Looking good. We have a special guest joining us. She is running late, but London River will join us soon and join the conversation. Swan Sanche, she very much was in a very sordid relationship with Moraine, and it's one of the changes that I think universally was beloved. Showing the intricacies of that relationship, showing the ups and downs, adding that tension, adding those like breaths of fresh air, for Moraine, who's on a 20-year mission to save the world, and she gets to go have some, love shack time. I was really appreciative of this change. I'm believing you guys did too. What are your thoughts on that as we start talking about the changes from the book to show? Dude, the music ended right after my question. That was amazing.
So, I think that the Wheel of Time was, Robert Jordan started writing this was almost 50 years ago. It was a long time ago. So, it was a little bit antiquated as far as when it was produced. I have to believe that if it was written today, it would have been a lot more like the film, like the show, as far as the relationship with them, than it was in the book that he wrote back then. And I thought that it was good, but I thought that there were some things that they did with the relationship and with each other that I didn't think were necessary.
Like what? And I'm ready to fight.
Well, there were some things where I thought that they were writing themselves into backing themselves into a wall. For instance, one of the things that they really kept heavily attached to their relationship was how they were able to meet in the islands. That ter'angreal that they had that somehow made them jaunt to their special place, whether that was a pocket universe in Teleran Riyadh or something else, who knows? They never were really that specific about that. They were doing things that no one could explain, and they didn't even explain it. And that's what
it's just magical shit.
Yeah, magical things.
They waved their hands and then all of a sudden, like, that whole ter'angreal doorway thing was just kind of taken off the wall, and where did that go?
Yeah, and they almost suggested that they had bonded each other somehow as well. Which, because obviously when one of them died, I know when you die, stuff like that. It's like.
Oh, I think the common idea about that is that the oath rod that she swore on is what indicated her death. I think that's how they explain that away.
Because it broke the bond when she died.
And that scene was awesome because she gets excommunicated. She's like debased publicly and asked to swear on the oath rod. She very careful with her words, and it was all like a masterful plan. And I thought that was a cool twist. I think that confused a lot of viewers until it was revealed, and those were effective. But yeah, and I think that continued on to when she got killed.
So let's actually start
sordidly. No, go on.
Let's start at the chronologically the story of Swan. So chronologically, it is pretty equal to the books. When we have Moraine and Swan with Guitar Moroso, they overhear the prophecy that the dragon has been born. Katara dies. This happens in the show as well. They make a plan. Moraine's going to go out. Siuan's going to stay in. That comes to fruition. Siuan becomes the Amyrlin. And this is all more or less the way that the book goes. Where we get the separation is with Moraine and Siuan having a sustained, prolonged relationship. Whereas in the books, it was kind of something that, you did until you graduated. And then once you became a full Aes Sedai, you kind of left all that nonsense behind because, Aes Sedais are stoic and don't have fun. But, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and to that point, like Jansen said, if this book was written 20 years later, I think that would have been not such a throwaway.
Because there was one sentence after they were both raised when, and this is even before Tamara dies, Moraine goes to Siuan's room and she says to her, "May I offer you healing?" And then she said she was so happy that she could have kissed Siuan, so she did. So they implied that they were still doing that post.
Oh, yeah.
How was in the show? It seems like it was somewhat known that Moraine had a somewhat special relationship with Siuan. They don't know necessarily about the sex room terangrial. They don't know necessarily how connected it is, but they do recognize that Siuan and Moraine do share a connection that most Amyrlins don't have with their Aes Sedai sisters.
Yeah, they do.
Real quick, Elfwitch, are you finished with it? Is it your first or second time reading it? Oh, okay, third read. Never mind. She answered herself.
I'm glad, Elfwitch, how you doing? I'm glad that you brought that up because I think that New Spring is the best resource we have to look at the relationship between Siuan and Moraine, at least in literary terms. I think they spent the most time together in this, so we got to see their interactions really well in this.
Siuan is burdened by all the work that the Amyrlin needs to do, the trappings of the Amyrlin seat, but also because the Dragon Reborn has been reborn, is here, and the prophecy is fulfilled. And how she goes about handling this is where we get a kind of a more left turn deviation from the books. She in the show seems to be of the mind that, whoa, we've blown it here, Moraine. You can't even channel. We have no idea where Rand's doing right now. This is bad, and we blew it. And who were we to have the hubris to take over? We should have just captured him and brought him to heel right off the bat. Moraine says, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. How close is that to the books?
I think that it's close in the sense that there was some tension between them both. Whether that was because of stress, because of the times, because of, knowing that the last battle was coming at any day, which has to be pretty stressful, especially for this, self-proclaimed leader of the free world. So, they knew. And in the books, she even said to Min, and I believe this was in, The Shadow Rising, when Min arrived in Tarvalin, she said to Min, he can't be ready for that. He's in Tyr. I'll strike Moraine down like as if she was a novice. She was mad, even a book before that, when they met in Shinar, in Faldara at least, when her and right before her and Viren and Moraine met Rand for the first time all together, they had tension between each other as well.
I always thought that was a part of the whole ruse. for her to publicly say, "Oh, that fucking rain," that like that's trying to throw off the scent. I always thought.
Yeah,
I thought they were solid the entire time.
I think so, but that's possible. But when they were alone, was when you saw some tension between both of them.
Well,
Even when they were
punctual
alone. So,
sexual tension.
I mean, yeah, and it was, and that was hard for the book Swan to show as much. I mean, the TV Swan to show as much as the book Swan. The book Swan had so much more time to grow. Not necessarily into the strong person that she always was from the beginning of the series of books. She was absolutely one of the strongest people in the books from the very beginning. She had already learned how to be strong in Tyr. She'd already learned how to be strong as a novice. Even in Moraine's POVs, she says how Swan had already tamed this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem, and she learned like a sponge, like a sand and water. She just sucked it up. So she was so strong, and later on in the books, we got to even see exactly how strong she actually was. We weren't able to see that kind of strength put on television because they didn't go that route. They didn't, so they had to try to make her as strong as possible by the time that for the time she did have on screen.
Yeah.
They did a fairly decent job. They tried to instill in us that she was the woman of the river, and that she had come from, dock trash and made it all the way to the Amerlin seat and did what she thought was right, and there's nothing you'll ever be able to take away from me, and all those things in her speech, and the audience loved that. They loved that.
Yeah, giving her hella tattoos and the way they did it was like such a great visual representation.
It was awesome. It was really good, and it was nice because the outcome of the Swan that we had on TV was that for non-book readers, she had the same kind of sentiment that she had with us as book readers, as far as strength and as far as being a beloved person, somebody who fought for the light, being someone who you could root for and that you liked. They checked all those boxes.
I liked the beginning when she was with her father, the one-armed fisherman.
It was
Couldn't
great.
untie a knot. She does it. And he's like, knock it off. They're going to see you. Later on, that house is burned to the ground. Well, I don't know if it's a house. It's kind of a hut.
Well, that's the
hut's
first
burnt to
time
the
we
ground.
see is that the second time we see the Dragon's Fang?
Yeah, I think so, because we saw it in the first season.
In the Two Rivers, yes.
So so she gets chased away, or at least he says, "Go, you got to go." But I kind of liked that emotional baggage that she carried with her from the village.
Yeah, again, and a lot of people from the very beginning I question his parentness, sending a little girl up the river, alone. But I understand what Rafe Jessica was trying to do. They were trying to instill how strong this character was, because we had so much time to see how strong she was reading about her. So they wanted everyone who saw this to know how strong she was.
Well, she is the daughter of the river. She is clever as a pike and strong as the tides.
Yep.
The one aspect that I don't believe they really got across that I love about Swan is her self-awareness, and maybe they would have gotten into this, and it's such a shame because I would have loved to seen, and then I have questions about the whole cutting her head off and why they did that, but like I would have loved to seen that actress
exactly
get still, go through that, and overcome that. She's such a powerhouse. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, and I thought that's one thing. Going back to what I said earlier about backing themselves up against the wall. Having her thrown in the darkest, deepest cell would have left so much more open to the writers. They could have killed her off anytime they wanted. And
It made me
leaving it
think
out there would have left so much more for, for even feedback and whether or not they needed to be more like the books or not. There's so many things they could have done with keeping her alive.
So what? Why? Is it like a business arrangement? Was it like did they? I always felt like they knew this show was, or they knew the writing was on the wall. I felt like there was a lot of wrapping up going on in season 3 that I felt was.
Oh no, I firmly believe that these people were trying to save their jobs.
No, I understand that. No, yeah, but then why kill Swan? In light of all your reasons, they should.
That could easily appease someone saying, "Hey, we don't have to pay Sophie next season." Yeah, it could have been as easy. It could have been as simple as that.
Well, they also, as was the norm, I think, in this series, is giving all the cool things to Moraine, right? And sure as shit, they took Swan's stilling and healing and condensed it into Moraine instead of Swan, taking away Nynaeve's, taking away. It was just Rand and Moraine, and it did diminish a whole lot the fact that as being stilled or gentled, but I guess stilled for this case, and it took away a lot of the gravity that it would have given it, I think.
See, that's the beauty of something like the Game of Thrones that came out with a bunch of people who the hype was not focused around as a star. I think that
you're right.
I would think that, the biggest star at the time might have been, probably Coster. What's his name? The guy who played Jaime Lannister was probably the biggest name at the time. So
maybe
Jason Momoa.
Dinklage wasn't Dinklage.
No, I would say Momoa.
Really.
Jason Momoa might have been the absolute biggest name as far
in
as
America. America, I think Tywin Lannister was very well known. A lot of the older guys were very well known,
but it wasn't like a hype thing built around like it was around Rosamund Pike, and Rosamund Pike was going to have those spots. She was the star of this. They built it around her. They advertised it around her. They focused it around her.
Damn, Jansen, that's a great point. I never even thought about that. Like how hamstrung they were by getting these big names.
Yeah, I mean,
they got the guy who was Roose Bolton to be Tam, and then he got 2 scenes, and I was like, wow, that guy's I love that guy, but
exactly. So, and it was and then they got those people and what they wanted to do was they were like, we're going to hire. They didn't hire huge names for the main characters, Like I was talking to someone earlier. Nynaeve used to be a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, she wears a helmet all the time. It's hard to tell who.
Yeah, but I mean, you knew it was her.
But I guess to my point is when you have these talent black holes like Moraine, like Rosamund Pike, where it's like, oh, well then, everything she's going to do is going to be great. So she should have all the really consequential scenes because she's going to do well as an actress. Doesn't really reconcile with the story itself and the diminishment of the other characters by allowing her as Moraine to get stilled, for instance.
Totally. And it's also like this, though. If you advertise any show using someone as that advertisement, and then everyone goes to the show and doesn't see them in it, they're going to be pissed because they went to go see that person. So...
Yeah. I mean, but again, though, you'd hope it, you just get captivated by the whole thing and then keep going, you could be front heavy and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes on a side quest. If you don't see her for an episode, it won't fucking kill us.
So to that point, I mean, so yeah, we could have had Swan in a cell, sitting, running. But gosh, I don't really see all that much for her. Once you take away, once you give Moraine her emotional baggage with the stilling and losing the power and losing the Emerald Seat, I mean, sure, just cut off her head. Why not?
I mean, I thought about this for a long time, and if the show would have gone on and progressed, and they started trying to get closer and closer to the actual text and put from the books. Now, if Leanna, they didn't kill Leanna, so Leanna could still be used as a beacon of some sort or of anything like that. But, the interactions between Leanna and Min could have also been very good. So,
Yeah. Well, Min's another. Oh, we'll get into Min another day.
yeah.
Oh man, so many wasted opportunities. But let's stay with Swan and Swan. I liked this actress. For the most part, I liked the character. I liked how disarming she was with Egwene and Elaine and Nynaeve, the way she spoke to him. Like she was awesome. You could tell that kings kneeled to her, and yet also she had empathy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought she was really honest. I thought it was a really good performance. I thought she was great. Very believable.
Yeah, I mean, just the way she'd raise her eyebrow, like if you're a kid and your mom gave you that look,
yeah,
it was good.
You're running.
The part of the emotional turmoil was with Moraine hanging out with Lanfear, and we saw that Swan gets knocked down. She's like trying to stop Moraine from leaving with Rand through a waygate or through a waygate. And she pretty much gets knocked to, beat up.
Yeah.
She didn't go up against any Forsaken that I remember in the books. Did Swan?
No, she never went up. Swan never went up. The only people I remember Swan physically going up against were Sharon soldiers. And she was that was Logain who hit Johnny Chagrin off with the on the back of the head. For Gareth Bryn, Johnny Chagrin's old bannerman. That she was in the cart when that happened, so it wasn't actually her. So it was the only time I saw her actually fighting was against the Sharons when she was trying to save Matt right before she died.
You bring up another good point. You bring up Gareth Bryn. And Gareth Bryn, as we know, Swan and Gareth hooked up. They end up having a relationship in the books.
They end up being engaged.
It's a weird relationship in the books. One I don't necessarily embrace full. I don't plant a flag in this relationship. But would the show... Now, in the show, would Swan switch teams, I guess? Would she suddenly have a thing with Gareth Bryn? The relationship with Moraine, it seems like it is very emotional. It's not just a physical, flirty, student kind of thing. This is sustained and aggressive. They are meeting up in secret. Aggressive. They're aggressively in a relationship.
Well, Moraine implied that she was willing to do it at least think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when she went to Roydeon in the bush, she was at least like thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have that aspect of her potential futures. Would I mean, would Swan and Gareth ever be a thing in the show, do you think?
Yeah. If it
Okay.
happened the way that it did, yes.
Okay.
But wish it could have easily happened that way. Yeah, I mean, we know that Robin went in one day and just took over everything. So, you know, it could have easily happened that way, where he went back to, you know, where did he live? No, Fort King something over. I forgot where he was from, but went back to his estate.
By the way, how cool was Robin's power, like to just change everyone around him to think, oh yeah,
I,
Lord Brand.
I loved it. It played really well with Robin being the quote unquote politician, you know, being the guy that at face value everyone loved. It played well. I loved their portrayal of Robin. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So even Swan was touched by this. I mean, no one was immune. Not
Nope,
even the Amerlin,
nobody.
which I kind of like. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in. What else about Swan do we want to talk about here?
What else about Swan?
She does. There is a coup within the tower itself that she fights in. Well, I guess she almost dies. She gets beat up. Does she get beat up? Yeah, they're all on the ground.
I think she's got some kills though.
She got a couple kills in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, on the show, she provokes it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she literally provokes what happened to her. In the books, she was more blindsided.
Oh, okay.
You know, she thought that she was doing the right thing, but she thought she had it under control. She was getting ready to get everything, you know, good, and then they blindsided her. They stilled her warder before she even knew. You know, they followed the law by just the letter of it, narrowly, and you know, and then they stilled her. So, and didn't kill her either. So, you know, it was different. It was very different.
It did seem that the trial of Leandrin Sedai was unorthodox and perhaps a bit rushed. And I don't know if it was really a good trial. I don't think so. I don't think it was a good trial at all. She was.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, in retrospect, I think that it had to be a hasty trial because of the subject matter and because of what had happened. Yeah,
but then she goes into torturing her.
Yeah,
she held her up in that fireball, and she's like, "Yeah, bitch,
and blood's
burn."
like spurting out of her mouth and shit.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't sound. I don't know. It sounds like a poor example for an Amerlin to make.
It does, but that being said, seeing what Elida did later, you know, to one of the Dark Sisters, you could see how brutal they were.
Yeah.
No, I remember disagreeing with that, Dan. I thought it was like too emotional. You know, like she's been like ruling this place with a subtle deft touch, and all of a sudden, like she's just like losing it. And so I didn't actually like that. I didn't like her just like hurting her. I mean, visually it was stunning,
and that's why they did it, because it was Leandrin, a fan favorite, someone who they essentially made a star. This character, she wasn't this loved or beloved in the books. You know, she wasn't this crafted in the books either. So, you know, her with as much screen time as she had prior to this moment, they had to give her that kind of screen time, getting tortured like this. It was her. It was her.
Yeah. She's in a show Case I is watching. It's like out now. Everyone's
She's
like
in a bunch. Yeah, she's in a bunch.
Okay.
Eternal Cheekbones of the Spotless Mind.
I think you're right. So
Yeah,
great.
She's in a bunch.
I guess in regards to Swan, her outfits were awesome.
Oh my god, they're wonderful.
Her outfits were awesome. I think she was elegant and yet down to earth. I think she was kind of the perfect boss, kind of like seeming, except for she was sleeping with someone on her staff and wasn't really open about that. HR nightmare, but whatever.
Well,
yeah, she had some like moments in her room, like when they brought up like Nynaeve and Egwene and had them talk to her. At that moment and the moment she had with Matt, a lot of like I think some of her best scenes were just like in her study.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I think they tried to hide it well, but I mean, let's remember sex in Judkin's world was very open.
Mm-hmm.
Judkin land was very, very open when it came to sex. I mean, you could see Warder down the hall, you could see Warder sandwiching Aes Sedai, like you could do it, so
Right.
Yeah. Whereas in the books, you had to like go to what, Saldea, where they were like,
no, you had to go to
Ilion, where they're
Eridomen.
they're just bathing like naked all the time with each other, and they
you had to go to Swoven Night, I believe, in Ibudar.
swollen, more like swollen night.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Chubby night.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So it was more like geographically located, and it helped like to make different cultures more distinct, and that is how it is. Like some cultures are repressed, and some are just Frenchy, and then there's all sorts in between. But yeah, like everyone in that land seemed to have like the same mores about sex and sexuality and
yeah. I mean, in the books, Galad and Gowan wouldn't have been let anywhere close to the novices or accepted. In the show,
they're like, have at it, boys. Oh, boys will be boys, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. As if it was like just like a loosely run dorm room for like a college dorm.
Even the Evelyn herself said, "Oh, well, that's great there. I'm sure the girls will love that."
Right.
Yeah, these accepted are like should be like running around with their heads down, like being worried about getting spanked, not actually spanking,
not railing a prince. Gosh.
I understand why they did that, though. They did that because simply they wanted more people to watch the show.
Yeah. No, I love how you're getting to the point because Dan, I agree. There's a lot of silliness. Especially like what a great way they could do a new weave where they just muffle the sound of their screams.
Wow,
they're magic. Wow, do you ever think about that? No, they're just yelling at the top of their lungs.
Maybe they haven't. Maybe they haven't.
Sounds. Jansen, did we talk about the sex room triangle at all?
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, what do we think it is? Exactly.
I think. Well, I've actually had this debate with other people, but I think that they're implying that it's a doorway to Teleran Riyadh.
But it doesn't function like it though. Like we saw Teleran Riyadh, their shit was like disappearing. Little girls were coming in and out of them.
But see, there's also the other theory no one even talks about. Like Teleran Riyadh was probably the most powerful force in the entire series, and no one really talks about it. But just about every Terangrial that we saw in the books that had you enter into it was powered by Teleran Riyadh.
That's a good point. Wait. What?
Yeah.
Like those dream league rings
All
are just like
every single one.
What do you mean they're powered by Teleran Riyadh? What does that even mean?
So the accepted test in the tower, Remember, Egwene said the reason why Nynaeve was so good at besting everybody at it is because she had spent so much time in Teleron Riyadh, and she suspected that Teleron Riyadh was completely coincided with Teleron Riyadh.
Was that confirmed or was that suspected?
Well, it was confirmed because Viren told Egwene that when she gave her the ring, be careful with it. When Egwene went to her acceptance test, the ter'angreal started vibrating. Now, they didn't know why. When they came out, Alana started apologizing, even telling the Amyrlin that she would take penance for it. And then Anaya told Egwene the only time she had ever seen anything like this ever happen were when two ter'angreal that were alike and used the same stuff were close together, telling us that ter'angreal and the ring, obviously, that we already know, were Dream ter'angreal.
Good one. And it was picking up just like feedback, right? Like having two hot mics facing
No,
each
I mean,
other.
and I guess that makes sense because, like, I think the implication was that the sisters outside were like manipulating events as if they're like had iPads in front of them and they're like watching it happen, right? So, and I guess you can manipulate Teleran Riyadh.
If you think about it, Teleron Riyadh, the world of dreams, is almost attached to everything. In fact, I have an even crazier theory about Teleron Riyadh. So I had thinking over and over and over again what countered everything in the books. Obviously, Sidene countered Sidar. And then, you get to, the Dark One, and you get to the True Power, and then you tell yourself, okay, what counters that? And then you think about what was Rand doing at the end of the entire series where he just thought about it and his pipe lit. That I started thinking, okay, somehow Rand tapped into Teleran Riyadh. And then I started thinking, it's very, very, very possible that the world of dreams is not just one of the most powerful powers in all the books. It might be the most powerful, and it might be the opposite of the true power. Therefore, the world of dreams is the creator's power.
Oh shit! Okay, I like that.
He can create everything, and the only place that remember, Egwene goes and she can see other worlds. She can see creatures she's never seen before, doesn't know what they were. She can go into the stars. So it could be that's where the creator is. And
okay,
it could
so
be we've been seeing his power the entire time.
I love that one. I got a theory. My theory is this. Robert Jordan one time said that the wheel should not be considered like a loom. It should be considered like the most powerful computer. And I've always kept that in my mind. And I have this notion that like Teleran Riyadh is like getting into like the DOS of the computer. Like the coding area of the computer.
I agree. I also considered this too. But this changes everything. I was like, what could change the entire Wheel of Time, everything? And I thought about just a one-word sentence could change the entire thing for me. And what if Robert Jordan meant for the very last sentence of the Wheel of Time to be flicker?
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. No,
well,
I thought you were going to say, what if the last word of the Wheel of Time was?
Jensen, your theory has me thinking because we know that balefire is very dangerous to the pattern.
Yes.
It rips the pattern apart. It backs up time. Things are negated because of its use. And yet in Tel'aran'rhiod, it's just a week. Perrin just says it's not there, and so it's not there. He's in complete control over like things, even like Balefire, which everyone is baffled about, including me. Why then wouldn't Balefire be effective in Tel'aran'rhiod? Why, if the pattern is so tied to it?
Well, that speaks to my theory. Actually, it adds weight to it, showing that the creator is the most powerful force in all of Wheel of Time. So if
bless him.
So if Tel'aran'rhiod is powered by the creator, then anything can happen there that overpowers anything.
Yeah.
It seems that it seems unfair. It's like when you're like two kids are like play fighting, and they're like, "Well, I shoot you with a bazooka," and they're like, "Well, no, I block it, and I come back with a flamethrower," and then the other kid's like, "Well, fuck, I have a bulletproof, flameproof, suit. I got a tank, and I crush you with it. No, I grow 10 feet tall, like."
I've got the most armor infinity.
No, yeah, it's like an ultimate like creativity zone. That's so cool.
The crazy thing is that and we'll have a whole conversation about Tel'aran'rhiod, I think, because like you have Angreal and Terangreal that work in both. So if I bring the Dream Spike into Tel'aran'rhiod, it's affecting both worlds. It's affecting Tel'aran'rhiod and the waking world. I assume all this. So even like the collar that Mogideon gets collared with, or is it Mogideon in Tel'aran'rhiod?
It is, but she got collared because she believed it. Remember, Egwene took the one that was put on her and completely got rid of it. So it was because she believed it. But remember, the Dream Spike was also able to be destroyed in Tel'aran'rhiod as well.
Guys, were there stars in this planet?
Yes.
Did they ever talk about like the moon and the stars and like anything?
Yes.
Extraterrestrial.
Well, not extraterrestrial, but they talked about. I believe the first time they ever talked about anything like that was in the episode is the Gleeman, and that's I think that's chapter 3 of Eye of the World. But Egwene screams out, tell about Lynn going to the comet and the stars. That's the first time that's any kind of
concept. Okay, I remember that, but it was just dawned upon me as I'm thinking about it, like, do they ever talk about that?
They do. They
mention stars in that.
Mm-hmm.
They do, and I know one is the Haywain. I can't remember the other one. I know one is the Haywain. Then also in Knife of Dreams, when Galad wakes up from getting pummeled by the White Cloaks, he's in a sleeping tent and doesn't recognize the stars, because he's in a sleeping tent and he sees the holes. But they mention stars a few times. I know, like I said, I know one of the constellations is called the Haywain. I think the other one's called the Archer.
Oh shit!
And the Bear.
Haywain? What the heck? Is that like some guy just waving? Hey, Wayne.
Yeah, I think it's
Garth.
And Wayne's over here just being like,
"Party on, Garth."
Hey, Wayne.
Party
okay,
on.
Hey, come on, good call. Okay, so that I'll stop that line of reasoning. Okay, so it is Earth. Okay.
They call it the world. They do use the term Earth a few times, but they're talking about the soil usually. But they do call it the world, and they call them human. So,
were they okay? Like, chat, you're gonna maybe know the answer. When was the whole? Oh God, I forgot the term. Right as I said it, the whole simulation theory invented. It had to be post computers, right? Because you had to even be able to imagine computers doing this. But like, because it on a lot of levels, my mind's going crazy. It feels like Robert Jordan invented simulation theory. Answers all
I mean, I believe
of
in
the
the real world, I believe that there's someone invented a computer like way before people thought that they were invented.
mm-hmm.
I do want to say the simulation theory has been around for a long time, past beyond computers.
Beyond
It wasn't a
computers?
computer simulation; it was simulation. So,
I
yeah,
thought whoa. All right, yeah, Glenn said 2003. But I mean, yeah, it's like or yeah, I mean it's like simulation is that idea that we're just in a computer simulation. Like you had to it's a computer running everything and we're just like NPCs basically.
Yeah, but I mean, but it was disproved though. It was proven that we're living in base reality. So, um, and that's because of time. The time dilation with stars and everything. There's no way we could never be living in a simulation
Mm-hmm.
because of the time dilation. So it's we're living in base reality. That's what was proven.
well, and I'd also say
Uh-oh.
that if someone,
Glenn has something to say about that.
no, it certainly has not. I don't think it
It
has.
hasn't been disproved, but
But it's hard, impossible to improve right now. But when we are, all right, so when we have, let's say, Ryan, that I think that everyone around me is not real, and that the world revolves around me, and that everyone is fake or has just been created by the creator,
Mhm.
not by a computer, but by the creator itself. And so everything is a simulation. It's not a computer simulation per se, but it is. Everyone around me is an NPC, and this is my thing. And I think that this is that theory has been around for a while. It's not just the advent of computer generated things. I think the idea that the creator or the great architect or whomever could have where everything is fake except for you. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a valid theory that has
Jeffrey
happened.
Dahmer.
No, I mean there are philosophers that say nothing's real. And I can imagine and I've just being like total Holden Caulfield, like everyone's fake,
And you're just
and
smoking
thereby
cigarettes and
they're
trying
all
to
like
touch
they're all being
boobs.
driven by forces that are not authentic to themselves, and people aren't being their true selves. So
So they're
in
like
that way, you could
themselves to
live
death.
in it. What was that, bro?
They're like Ishmailing themselves. They're like killing themselves with their own logic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Nice. So
that's good. That's a good way to die, though.
killing yourself on your own logic. No, I think it's suffocating.
Just thinking yourself to death. Why not? I wish more people would do it.
I'm sure it's happened.
Instead of these repetitive, stressful, intrusive thoughts I'm having, I'd rather be exploring the depths of my mind. And then
and then Rosebud.
All right, so Jansen, I disagree. I don't think this show Swan would have had a romantic thing with Gareth Bryn. Partly like politically. And
knowing who this actress is, her playing, if this series went on, her being in that,
and she got reheaded.
Yeah, and she wasn't dead or anything. Her in that, her and another strong actor in that honeymooners-esque back and forth would have provided a very good comic relief.
To the moon, Swan.
That's what it did to the book. That's some of what it did to the books. He put her over his knee sometimes. It was part of, they did that for some of the comic relief. And I think that her with another character back and forth like that could have definitely provided a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't see.
So he's spanking her, and she realizes she likes it too much.
Just even the expressions, the aftermath would have been funny.
Do you think that's why Swan liked Gareth, because he spanked her?
No, I think that they were, I think that men put them together because she voiced her opinion of her viewing with them. She told Swan that if she didn't stay close to him, she would die. And, you know, you put a pretty young woman next to an old man with no woman, he's going to start liking you no matter what.
He is a great general.
Who's your headcanon for Gareth Brand? Is he like a Pierce Brosnan?
No.
Pierce
I thought Gareth Brand. Let me think.
Or who is Ned Stark? Beam?
Sean Bean.
Sean Beam?
But Gareth Brand.
What better question? Which great general would Sean Bean be?
Sean Bean?
Rodell. Rodell Heralde.
Doesn't he have this crazy stash?
Yeah, Iteraldo does, and he also has a beauty mark on his cheek. Let me think. Who would have been a good Gareth Brand? You know who would have been a really good Gareth Brand?
Liam Neeson.
No.
Len
Because
says Patrick Stewart.
exactly what I'm talking about.
You don't
The
understand.
comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
I think Samuel Jackson would have been hilarious.
Yes. Hell yeah.
I think it would have been hilarious.
Oh no.
Samuel Jackson for Il Torade or for Gareth Brand?
For Gareth Brand. Because
Okay.
the reason why I'm casting him for it to go back and forth the honeymooner app with her.
Yeah. God, I never thought of their relationship as comic relief. I always rolled my eyes and be like, fucking, let's just get
Oh
the
my
fucking
god,
guys.
it was absolute
It's like,
comic.
Jesus, this is the longest, like,
I mean,
teasing.
it was just like, so Vel and Luca and Nynaeve's relationship. Pure comedy.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, Nynaeve is very always funny.
Yeah, pure comedy.
Nynaeve is
Like,
very always funny.
Yeah, it's but yeah, it's those relations that's comedy is stuff that's really, the stuff you laugh at is stuff that's not funny. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's the
Oh
truth.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
If you're my people. Yeah, if I go actually to a theater, I'm like the one laughing at the weirdest signs. I
Yeah.
fucking
I
feel
mean,
weird
I
about
thought
it.
one of the most telling things in my movie history was in Pulp Fiction when they accidentally shot the dude in the head in the back.
Ah,
John Travolta-
I didn't mean to accidentally shoot Marvin in the face.
Every single person in the entire thing cracked up.
Apparently, that was John Travolta. He was supposed to maliciously shoot him. And
Yeah.
John Travolta said, I don't really feel good about that per se. Can we have it be an accident? He's like, I don't know. Sure, let's try it. And he's like, oh, man, I accidentally shot Marvin in the face. Like, all right, cool.
I love those stories when there's like a creative like back and forth.
It happens on just about every single thing that there is.
Marlon Brando, when he started in Apocalypse Now, right? Wasn't that Marlon Brando?
Mm-hmm.
He
No, that
he
was Martin Sheen.
And Marlon Brando.
No,
Marlon Brando was
Oh,
the...
you're right.
yeah. He like stuffed his face with like those dental things they put.
Oh, no, you're thinking The Godfather.
Was that The Godfather?
Yeah, when he's The Godfather.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Godfather. He shoved his face full of cotton to make his face look and voice sound different.
I mean, yeah, also, I don't know if you guys were Seinfeld fans, but Bryan Cranston played a character named Tim Watley, a dentist on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing a show where he's working on Jerry. The lighting guy says, you know, it'd be funny, man, if you actually took a hit of the nitrous yourself. He did it, and they used it. It was an Emmy Award-winning scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's so great.
Man. Like, right on the fly. You know, that's why improv is huge, man. Improv is in everything, man. They to make a show, and they do whatever they can.
Jansen, have you ever spoken a word in a scene that you did not have lines in?
Yes.
And was it nefarious? Were you trying to get in, you get a raise if you get lines in it, right?
No, I was actually, this happened about 3 years ago. I was doing background as a bartender, a skill that, as everyone knows me, knows I have very well. So I was playing a bartender on a film that they were just, shooting for. And I walk into the room and I get this bar ready because I guess the guy they needed didn't know how to do it, so they rushed me in. And I sit there and I eat lunch and I stand up and I look. Sitting at the bar is a well-known actor, and he looks at me and he says hi. And I introduce myself and I keep it together because I know who he is. And he tells me, Jansen, I'm going to change this scene and just go with me, okay? And I said, okay. That was Jake Gyllenhaal.
And then he started making out with you?
Then he started making out, yeah.
I just got to do a scene with him one time, and it was really, really, really awesome.
That is really, and so it was that, like, that whole, so you improvised something, did that make it? Was that, like, in the thing?
Here's the thing. I've never seen it, and only one person I know of said they saw me on this show. It's on Apple TV, and it's called Presume Innocent. And it's a scene with him and his brother-in-law, and me as the bartender. So when I do have a chance to look, I'll check it out. There's but it's probably 500 things out there I haven't seen myself in. So, every now and then you get to catch.
What is, yeah, that's how I feel. What is deep cover? If Elfwitch, I love improv. What is deep cover? Is that a show?
Speaking of, guys, it's 5:00 and my son is in a play tonight.
Hey.
Yes, he is in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and it is a huge production. He is in the Child's Choir. It is off-Broadway play, which is it's been a full house every night. It's unbelievable. I've already seen it twice. My wife has seen it 8 times. I'm going tonight with bottles of champagne and flowers because it's the last night.
Nice.
Excellent. Get that boy drunk.
To break a leg.
I would. But I love all you guys.
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
New theories, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
All right,
yep,
Jansen.
We'll be back every Sunday talking about this stuff. Well, thanks for everyone joining us. This is Tavern Talk. We're here every Sunday. We also have a show on Wednesdays called the LeafCast where we talk first-time reader stuff. We're almost done with the series, so come join us.
All right. And as always, run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.